What is going on, everybody? And today we're back again with another video, and this one's going to be about what do I prefer to use at reenactments where I'm in the field and we're in a combat situation, and you want to blend into your environment. So often you would want to attach foliage to your helmet for extra camouflage. Some German troops had camouflage helmets, but I prefer to not use camouflage helmets unless the entire group of people I'm with are wearing camouflage helmets, because when they were done, it was typically in a unit level, so everyone would be wearing a camouflage helmet. So since for the most part I don't really wear camouflage helmets too often, I prefer to stick with one of these methods here, and I'm going to talk about which one I prefer to wear at events. So to start off with here, we have the red inner tube band. This was used throughout the war. You can see this in use in early war footage with the red bands used, and you can see them all the way to the end of the war. There's photos of German troops with these in Normandy and throughout the European theater, like I said. They also did use inner tube bands in different colors too. They used them in black. I want to say I've seen some in almost like a white, but I like the red. Excuse me, because the red, it was quite typical for European inner tubes on like bicycles and stuff like that, were often a red rubber. And this one here was actually cut from an original European bicycle inner tube. Still very sturdy, and it's pretty self-explanatory. What you would do is you would just take whatever kind of foliage from the environment you're in, stick it into the band, and you would hold it in place, and that would be your camouflage. I have used this one here quite a few times in reenacting, but for the most part the helmet net is my favorite, and we'll talk about this in just a minute. If you want to get one of the red inner tube bands, there's a place on eBay that actually sells them. I think they're like $10 or something like that, $10 plus shipping. I'll put the link to that in the description. Or, I mean, you could just use black. You could get, I guess, a modern inner tube, maybe. But some of those I know have like markings and stuff on them for the company that made them, so that might not be a good idea. But if you don't want to go with the black, or excuse me, the red, you can get the black. It's probably easier to find. But if you do want to go with the red, I will be sure to leave the link in the description for where to buy one. But overall, I really do like the red band. I'll probably be using it at a reenactment here in the near future. I've had this one here for probably 4 or 5 years, and the rubber is still very sturdy, not gonna break. And this is an old inner tube as well. This isn't a new made inner tube. So that's that. And here we go with the helmet net, which is my personal favorite. This is a reproduction helmet net, which was made by Chris Chalupa. He is on Facebook, so if you're interested in getting a helmet net, contact him. I believe these are around $40 to $45, and he hand makes them. He also makes them in the multicolored netting. They're really nice. One thing I have done to the net is after quite a bit of use, they become to get like a little fuzzy. So what you can do is just take a torch and just quickly run it over with the flame, and it'll burn away the little fuzzies. And looks like that. Looks a lot better. The helmet net came out in around 1943. There is no like specific documentation as to when these were exactly started to be manufactured, but in photographs right around 1943 is when these start to come up. These were an issued item, and they were logged into the soul book as Tarnets, which means camouflage net in German. Around 44, they become quite common with some German units. Especially during the Normandy campaign, you see these quite often. And even into the Hurtgen Forest and towards the end of the war. So one thing I've always been asked on Facebook, and even a couple comments on here, is how do you attach the helmet netting to a helmet? So when these are issued, from what I've seen in a all original mint unissued example, is these came in a little cardboard box, and they had two little metal hooks that were included. You would have one for the front and one for the back, and how they would attach is like so. So you would take the metal pieces, slide them under the liner band, and so that way it's secure, it's not going to fall out or anything like that. So I'm going to actually try to walk you through the process for those who have no idea of how to do this but want to know. So I'm going to take off the helmet net and put it back on for you. So I'm going to put the camera down and we'll get to it. Okay, so helmet net's off. So now we're going to start with how to attach it to the helmet. So let's just say you've just been issued your helmet net. And so what you're going to do, like I said before, as far as the metal attachments, you're going to have two metal hooks. You're going to slide them underneath the liner band, like so. Front and in the rear. Once you've done that, you're going to have it looking like this. On your helmet net, you're going to have two metal S hooks. Let me see. I'm just trying to figure out a way to do this one-handed, because it's kind of a two-handed job. So you're going to want the hooks facing like this, so you can see the hooks. And then what you're going to want to do is the front hook right here. You're going to want to do that. And then with these, pull them to the rear to give it a little bit of tension. Like so. So you got those hooked to the rear, and then you're going to have your rear hook, and then just simply hook the nut like that, and that's pretty much it to attach it. And then it's not going to fall off or anything like that. As far as the extra netting that's hanging off like this, in original photographs you do see them with it just hanging. Sometimes they shorten the nets, they would cut them, or they would just tuck it into the liner. But for me, I just prefer to just leave it hanging like that. When these helmets were originally issued, one thing I did leave out is there was a drawstring with a little metal O-ring on the back as like a drawstring to tighten it up, but I took mine out. It wasn't really useful for me, and also in a lot of original photographs you see where they have been removed too, so I just took it out. So that's pretty much how you attach it. And like I said, as far as this, you can either just leave it, tuck it in, some guys shorten them, or tuck it into the liner band. Now that that's out of the way, I just wanted to do that part because a lot of people have asked me before, how do you attach a helmet net? So there you go. So to talk about attaching camouflage and stuff, pretty self-explanatory. Put whatever kind of foliage is in your environment in the netting, it'll hold it. Or some guys just simply wore the netting and didn't attach anything, because the netting alone breaks up the shape of the helmet quite well, but at the same time you can attach foliage. Another thing too I have seen in original photographs, especially during the Battle of Aachen, is guys would have the red inner tube bands helping to hold the nets on. So for one event I did do that as well. But overall, the helmet netting is my favorite thing to use for attaching foliage and camouflage on my helmet. It just looks really, really good. And quite common for the units I portray, and during the time period I portray as well. So like I said, I will put a link in the description for where to get the red inner tube bands, and I'll also mention the guy who makes the helmet nets. So if you guys are interested in that, please check that out. So alright guys, that's it for this video. I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking it out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave anything below in the comments. I will be sure to respond to everybody. Give the video a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.